Hello everyone, Rodimus 2099 here. So yesterday was Friday. Today is Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. Um, why did I not upload a Film Friday yesterday? And you probably were wondering that. I uploaded stop motion instead because I had to see this movie Friday night. I saw it Thursday night, but I wanted to see it again before I really reviewed it because I don't want to say like I loved it and then see it again and be like, man, that was just so terrible or something. I really just wanted to make sure that I knew what I was going to say before I said it and I also wanted to make sure that I wasn't spoiling anything. I wrote down a whole script and then I watched it. I'm like, did that spoil something? No, no, yes, yes, yes. So I checked all those boxes off. So this is a spoiler-free review of the brand new movie featuring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips, Joker. So this movie was sort of, I didn't even know it was getting made until the first trailer was seen, was dropped. Um, I knew that there were some plans for a Joker movie, and that Joaquin Phoenix was eyed for the role. But besides that, I didn't know. I don't know who Todd Phillips is. I've never seen any of one of his movies, but now that sort of found out about him, I wanted to search up more, and this is definitely a different type of movie for him. But I know some people are very much like, don't go see Joker, you could get hurt. It's only because that thing that happened that I don't really want to talk about. But that was just a fluke. That's just someone who's mentally ill. And if there were cops in the theater, which I think there was a couple people who kept on like coming in, checking, looking around, walking out, coming and checking, walking out. And yeah, I definitely am like, hey, that was something that happened. Definitely don't need to talk about that anymore. But like, if you're gonna say that movies cause violence, then you gotta say video games do. Neither it's not pick and choose what causes violence in people. Definitely not pick and choose. You can't just say, oh, video games because we don't have anything to blame right now. You can't just say movies because one thing happened in a movie theater. I mean, you might say that schools are making us violence because there's violent stuff going on in schools, but we obviously know that's not true, right? Anyway, I've always wanted to make a video on talking about like our our video games the cause of violence and movies with it. And I'll talk about that at a future date. Just sort of wanted to give you this little spiel before I get into the movie itself. Again, I mean, come on, it's just a movie, people. No reason to, I don't know, feel endangered. But gotta admit, this was definitely not the movie I was expecting. When you hear a movie like titled, it's gonna be a whole movie on the Joker, and you're definitely like, hey, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, come on, Joker's the best comic book hero, comic book villain, in the whole world. Everyone has really loved him. He's been in so many things. He has so many great performances from my favorite, which is Jack Nicholson, which other people's favorites, which is Heath Ledger, um, and obviously someone's favorite, Mark Hamill, which is my real favorite. I would have loved if we got a movie about his Joker. I think that could have been cool. But of course, we don't need it because I think Joaquin Phoenix did a great job of a society saturated Joker. But what does that mean? I definitely think that the DCEU won't go for that same, oh, society ruined him. This one was sort of like, only will exist in the DC Dark. Maybe it will come up in the comics. But because it's just so like Joker has always been a dark character, and then when you put him in a society that is very dark and gloomy, he will obviously come out of that still dark and gloomy. Um, I definitely enjoyed the fact that he was society way instead of how Jack Nicholson, where he was put in chemicals and sort of just turned crazy. Um, I would like if we got that from the DCEU. That's more comic bookish. That's pretty cool. But of course, if you sort of mix the elements, like I think they did really well with the Batman Killing Joke comic, I definitely think that was good. But I really gotta admit, I think that if you have a society sort of ruined Arthur, and then he decides to do something to save his wife, so he goes out and he falls into a bunch of chemicals, and of course, I really wanted them to include this. But one of the things in the comic books is that when Joker was falling into the vat of chemicals, he broke his jaw, making him have such an extended, what's it called? Mouth, like such a extended, smile. Um, and I always thought that was something so cool that was never really brought up before. Sort of like just never really mentioned. And of course, when you look at the Dark Knight Joker, he's very much a just sort of like anarchist. He wants to see the world burn. Um, but yeah, you definitely see him wanting just to make the world burn. He wants to. But with this one, you don't see that. You don't see that he's trying to destroy everything. He's actually trying to improve society for those who are like him. I definitely think that this movie was just so cool, and oh man, it was so good. I can't wait to see it again. Oh, I can't wait to see it a third time, which I didn't think I would. I thought after I saw it 2 times, reviewed it, looked at it, I'd be like, you know what? I'll just wait until it comes out on DVD. But no, it is so good. And this is one of those movies where, like, it kind of keeps you guessing till the end. Well, not really guessing, but questioning yourself. Um, I definitely like that Bruce Wayne is a kid right now, because that sort of shows like the impact that it would have on him. Um, Sort of growing up in this, and I can't wait for more movies with Joaquin Phoenix, and I can't wait for the new Batman to come out. I believe Robert Patterson is playing him, um, which I wasn't excited for when I heard about it, but watching Lighthouse, which is a new movie with him in it, I might be a little excited. Um, I still, of course, one of those people who think William Dafoe should play Joker. He has such a style. Even while watching him as Green Goblin, I was just like, man, he could make a good Joker. But who knows? Maybe we'll never see that. But as always, I gotta thank you guys for watching. I have been Rodbus2099. Sorry for releasing this video a day later than I probably should have. But of course, I wanted to make sure that this was a good review that didn't spoil anything, or at least tried not to spoil anything. Again, I mean, maybe you're like, hey, that was a little spoiler. But again, most of it is from the trailers. Saying that he was ruined by society. Trailers is jaw thingy. Well, that's in the comics and really isn't in the movie. I would have loved it if it was in the movie. But that's really all my thing. That's really what I think about it. I don't want to, like, obviously review it as, like, a movie and give it a grade, because really it isn't a movie. It's sort of just a comic book. It's just a comic book. Because it feels so much like a comic book that you don't have that feel of, like, that was an excellent movie, or like, that's a great comic book movie. But if I had to give it the almighty title, I give it an A-. I'm sorry, there's some stuff I didn't like, and I don't like the idea of this Joker being as old as he is, because that doesn't really, I don't know if it'll work well when he's fighting, if he fights Robert Patterson, or if we have to get a new Joker after this one. I don't know. I really hope that we get him, Joaquin Phoenix, as Joker for a while. That we don't have a different one, and then a different one, and then a different one. But I don't know. Really did like it. The trailers got me excited. I think it was great. Everyone did a good job in this movie, and I have to give it an A- because there was some stuff I didn't like. I didn't like most of the scenes, and sometimes I felt that it was a tad bit rushed. But I definitely think that this movie is enjoyable, so I'd recommend watching it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fun, safe, and enjoyable time at the movies watching Joker if you're going to go see it. And if you aren't going to see it, well, no worries. It'll come out on DVD and be available forever. And it'll probably come out on Netflix sometime. Anyway, gotta thank you all for watching.